Tavis Smiley is now ranked number 16 nationally and the highest rated talk show hosted by an African American on the 2025 Talkers Heavy 100 list of the most important talk radio hosts in the nation. Last year, Tavis ranked number 33 and the year before, number 45. The Tavis Smiley Show has rapidly expanded its national syndication to now include nearly 50 radio stations across the country and counting. Congratulations, Tavis.
Yay, yay! Keep on. Never say die. Keep on. Like this. Keep on. Never say die. Keep on. Like this. Never say die. Never say die.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, your host and White House correspondent, joining you live in afternoon drive time right here on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm in touch, so you be in touch. Be sure to follow me on all the social media platforms at Dr. Nii-Quartelai. Just type in Dr. Nii-Q, DRNIIQ, and I pop right on up. Fresh for you to follow. Also, be sure to download the KBLA app if you haven't already. That way you get to carry us with you everywhere you go. And if you're feeling fancy, guess what? You can tell Alexa to play KBLA Talk 1580. And there we are for your listening pleasure. Last but not least, be sure to subscribe to the KBLA YouTube channel, because that way you don't just get to hear the conversation. You get to see us in action and hop in the group chat, hop in the comments, and sound off. All right. Now it's time for your national news roundup. It's time for you to decide the good, bad, and ugly headlines of the day. And kicking us off, the Oscar ceremony is moving from Hollywood to downtown LA. If I'm the one to break it to you, well, I'm sorry about that. But it is happening. NBC News is reporting that the Academy Awards will move from the Dolby Theater in LA to the LA Live Complex in downtown LA starting in 2029. That relocation is roughly 9 miles away. It coincides with the ceremony's shift from airing on the ABC broadcast network to streaming live on YouTube. The Dolby Theater has hosted the Oscars for all but 1 year since 2002. ABC has held the broadcast rights since 1976. So that means change is definitely afoot. Speaking of change that's afoot, NBC News also reporting that transgender women have been banned from the Olympics by the new IOC policy. That's right. There are reports today that transgender women athletes are now excluded from the Olympics after the IOC agreed to new eligibility policy today, which aligns with President Trump's executive order on women's sports ahead of the 2028 Los Angeles Games. We saw the International Olympic Committee said in a statement that eligibility for any female category event at the Olympic Games or any other IOC event, including individuals and team sports, is now limited to biological females, determined on the basis of a one-time SRY gene screening. It is unclear how many, if any, transgender women are competing at an Olympic level. No woman assigned male at birth competed at the 2024 Paris Summer Games. The eligibility policy will apply from the LA Olympics in July 2028. Protects fairness, safety, and integrity of female category. That's what the IOC is saying. What say you? Hop in the comments and sound off. Let us know. Finally, USA Today is reporting that Gen Z hates phones. They don't hate phones. They hate phone calls. So you might wonder, why are college kids lining up to use the payphone? Yeah, Gen Z is notoriously bad at picking up the phone. Boomers, of course, grew up on it, but a new social experiment wants to get them talking to each other. Yeah, outside of a busy coffee shop or wherever it is. There is a place on the Boston University campus with a sign on a bright yellow payphone that invites passerbys to, quote, call a boomer. In a lobby across the country at Sierra Manor, a subsidized senior housing facility in Reno, Nevada, a similar payphone reads, call a Zoomer. And when a user on the other end of the line picks up the phone, it automatically dials the companion phone. The calls are free for both users. That's kind of cool. The biotech startup Matter Neuroscience, they installed the phones as a social experiment to connect Gen Z with older adults, two age demographics experiencing high levels of loneliness. The phones installed the first week of March will stay up until at least April 9th. We got to make sure we have the folks behind that on the show, because I am real curious about what they found. When we come forward, I'm delighted to welcome back to the show Reverend Yearwood. He's the president and CEO of Hip Hop Caucus, which is a national nonprofit, nonpartisan organization celebrating 20 years of advancing civil and human rights through hip hop culture. He's here to talk about the new documentary that he's featured in. It's called The Plastic Detox Doc. It's now streaming on Netflix. I have watched it. I enjoyed it. I learned so much from it. I can't wait to talk to him all about it when we come forward. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Ron had a tax problem he just couldn't handle on his own.
I owed the IRS taxes for over 5 years, but I didn't have any money to pay the taxes.
Those years cost him dearly.
Most of it was fees and interest. It was horrible.
Ron finally called in the pros.
I called Optima Tax Relief, and boy, am I happy I did.
The leading tax resolution firm, Optima, is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. They've resolved over $1 billion for their clients. Ron was overjoyed.
They settled my account with IRS. I was ecstatic. They are a lifesaver. They are. I am so happy.
Take Ron's advice and call Optima now for a free consultation.
Yeah, don't do like I did and wait. Call Optima Tax Relief. Do it now. You'll be ecstatic like me.
Call 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The BLM Center for Black Power is a hub for Black activism in the city of Los Angeles, a standalone nonprofit affiliated with Black Lives Matter LA. The venue is home to live events, meetings, and organizing drives for Black-led community-based organizations. It is also the base of operations for Black Lives Matter LA. Built on what used to be a nuisance property owned by an arms dealer, the BLM Center for Black Power is in the heart of Leimert Park and has opened its doors to everything from youth organizers to toy drives to film screenings and community town hall meetings. To make a donation or make a request, please visit blmla.org. That's blmla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
All the women who independent, throw your hands up at me.
This March, we're turning up the volume on the women who changed everything. KBLA Talk 1580 is proud to celebrate Women's History Month, honoring the trailblazers, truth tellers, and game changers who shaped our world, our culture, and our community. From the freedom fighters to the firsts, from the boardroom to the front lines, from the unsung to the unforgettable. All month long, we're celebrating the stories, the voices, and the conversations that remind us that women, Black women, have always led the way. Don't miss a moment. This is our moment. This is our story. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580, Los Angeles' home for the conversations that matter.
I'm your girl, you're my girl, we're your girls. Won't you know that we love you?
We have no permanent friends or permanent enemies. Only permanent interests. As we effort to build a more perfect union.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, and it's always an honor to be in conversation with friend of the show, Reverend Lennox Yearwood Jr. He's the president and CEO of the Hip Hop Caucus. He is also a senior advisor for Bloomberg Philanthropies. He's one of the most innovative advocates for racial and climate justice in the country. I could go on and on and on, but I want to give you a hat tip. If I have my hat on,
I appreciate that.
My hat on, I give you a hat tip for this movie, The Plastic Detox, is streaming on Netflix. I'm saying this after having watched it this afternoon. This is a must watch. This is required streaming, everybody. For folks out there who may be struggling with fertility issues, for folks out there that may wonder, why is it that it seems like in my little cluster of the world that there are a high number of people, that are looking at issues related to cancer and other cardiovascular related diseases. What's up with that uptick? You may want to pay attention to what they have to offer in this film. Reverend Yearwood, tell us, why was it important for you to participate in this film?
Well, first and foremost, let me say it's just an honor to be with you again. When they gave me the news, actually, I'm from Cancer Alley. That's obviously what it's in the film. And today I had a funeral, and I wasn't sure if I was going to do any interviews. When I saw it, I said, "Oh man, that's my guy." So I gotta let me chime in today. So it's one of those days. I just want to start off by saying that, but that's actually the reason why I had to do this film. We had to be a part of this because clearly the issue of toxins and plastics is having a tremendous impact on our lives, and it is well done. I've actually been able to be an EP and do many documentaries. And this one is just people, they got to see it because it's just so informative. But I had to be a part of this to tell, particularly the story of one Cancer Rally, where I'm from, and the impact of petrochemicals on that community and how so many people are dying because of with cancer. Two, the issue of fertility. I mean, this film literally, there is life. There are lives now on this planet because of this film, because they did what need to be done to take out plastic out of their homes. They literally were able to conceive and have children. And then the third thing I think was is most important. I think that the issue of breast cancer and other issues, man, I mean, when people see it, I'm sure how you felt when you see it, man. Your first reflection is, man, I gotta go to my kitchen and clean out all the plastic cups out of my kitchen and be mindful. So it's having a huge impact. Millions have already seen this, been out there for a week. People want people to go still watch it. And so I'm just excited about how we can use culture to create change.
I mean, I'm excited of how you've used Netflix as a platform to teach us all so many things that we may not have been dialed into. I found myself as I was watching, sort of taking notes.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's just sort of a reporter's life. We're always taking notes, right? But this time it felt more personal.
Mhm.
You had me from the very beginning, where I didn't know that microplastics, for example, were in so many things, right?
Yes.
Chewing gum, polyester, bottled water,
The air.
and they find their way
Yeah.
into our body, even our most private areas
Yeah.
of our body.
Yeah.
Talk to us about the response that you get when you're out and about and you're talking about some of the environmental injustices that are seen in plain view and not. What do you hear when you're talking to our community about microplastics and how they are just everywhere and in everything?
Yeah. So for folks who are in tuned in right now, know that in some areas we are consuming a credit card size worth of microplastics every single week. It's going into our bodies, and it's causing us to have dementia, to have diabetes. Obviously, it clogs. It's plastic, so it's clogging our arteries, causing obesity. And you see it in the film, the obesity studies that are done. And so it's critical. And it's right now, unfortunately, the issues around the environment. I've been doing this work since obviously Hurricane Katrina. That's really was my origin story. That's how I got into this when it decimated New Orleans and my family and friends who were down there, who lost their lives and lost everything. I began to get involved, not so much from the environmental standpoint that time, but really the fact that people of color, particularly Black people, were displaced all over this country. But then when you connect the dots between obviously the environmental concerns from New Orleans and Katrina to then this literally 85 mile stretch of land between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, which is called Cancer Alley, then you realize no, this is because people have a business plan to mean the death sentence. So it was important for our communities to understand this. That's one of the reasons I had to be a part of this to help not only to make sure we have able to fund this process, to fund this movie. I really believe in the words of Tony K. Bombara, the role of the filmmaker, the artist, the radio host is to make the revolution irresistible. So I mean that was the key thing for us to get behind this. Also for me, culture has become a climate issue. I mean, climate has become a culture issue, meaning that people have kind of gone to their corners. They just hear the word climate or they hear the word environment. They just kind of, that's for those on the left, or that's not for me. So I think the thing that we have been looking at is that, okay, we are clearly in a climate crisis, but it's being used as a culture issue. So
Mhm.
the thing that we can solve using Netflix is that how can we solve the crisis of imagination? How can we use
Mm.
those kind of platforms like Netflix to then get out this message? And it worked. Like I mean, I think literally millions of people. It took us years to get to the eyeballs. We've already seen the plastic detox, and so we're there, and it's hitting eyes on both sides, on the right, on the left. In the documentary, there's Joe Rogan talking about it. There's others talking about it. So I'm just excited that this is beginning to hit many different communities because no matter who you are, you should not be, people should not be able to poison you. People's business plan, these companies' business plan should not be a death sentence for our communities.
I mean, just hearing you say that, and that really jumped out at me in the film when you said it there that these folks are banking on this business plan which is a death sentence for our communities. I couldn't help but think about here in California, President Trump recently signed an executive order to reopen drilling along the California coast.
Yeah.
There's an area that had been shut down for some time, and there had been some litigation involved for some time. And in response to the war in Iran, Trump signed this executive order to reopen drilling, and the oil is now flowing, and the people of California, so many people in California, particularly in coastal California, are not happy about this. Um, Connect the dots for us because we're living in a moment where the fossil fuel energy industry is flexing, are they not?
Without a doubt. In many cases, let me just start with what I mentioned about culture and Netflix. They're also putting money into creating content themselves. I mean, when you look, I mean, Landman, if other people notice, that is literally being put forth by the fossil fuel industry. So if you've ever seen that, they're literally putting forth their message about why fossil fuels and things are good. It's unfortunate right now because we are, and I mean, obviously, where you are in LA, there's heat waves. Obviously, just a year ago, we had the wildfires in LA. Phoenix right now, this year's already been at 104, 105 degrees. Last year, they were 200 days in 100-degree temperature consecutively. Worldwide, people there were droughts. This war that we're dealing with, if it was for solar power, we wouldn't be killing each other for solar power. Um, over in over in the Middle East, we wouldn't be capturing presidents of country in Venezuela if it was for wind energy. That wouldn't be the case. But it's for this thing that we actually don't need and we can transition from, and it's actually killing us. And people should know plastics people don't know if they can see my hat or not, but plastics are fossil fuels. And so we have to do all we can. And so right now we're going backwards. There's no doubt about it. We're going backwards in many issues regarding policy. But we have to stay strong because one of the things in the documentary, it's about how hard it is because of plastic to have a baby. Those babies that are, this is no spoiler, this is what it is, but those babies who are born, and you'll get it. It's still good with me telling you this.
Yeah.
Those babies that are born in the documentary because of certain things, they have a good chance to living to see 75 years of life or more. Hopefully, if we have clean air, clean water. If that's the case, those babies that probably should not have been born, if we had removed the plastic, we'll see the year 2100. They're not going to care. When them babies hit the year 2100 and they're like 75 years old, they're not going to look back and be like, man, back in, 2026 and, they was debating this. They're going to look at us like we were crazy. And so I'm just telling everybody right now, like we out here trying to save your lives. Like this is serious. Like the toxins that are particularly for Black people that are in our hair and our makeup and our products, it's literally killing us. And people don't know why. Why am I getting these headaches? Why can't I sleep? What's going on? Why am I feeling well? Why can't I eat? It is literally because of the toxins, and you can change this. That's why you got to check out the plastic detox to see how you can change what is happening in your life.
That's right. It's required streaming. I'm calling it. It's required streaming on Netflix. Speaking of saving lives, I was blown away to learn from this documentary that bisphenol A, I think I got that right. Bisphenol A.
Yes.
That, this is an example, of a microplastic that can be passed down, not one, not two, not three, but 4 to 5 generations. Talk about that.
Well, one thing we're seeing that we can obviously in our bloodstream, and obviously what we're now seeing in the studies that we're seeing that people are finding plastics in the placenta. This is actually a part of this boy. You should see this. This is real, fellas. And actually, for those on the right, for some reason, this is a big deal for them. But plastics are making men's, junk or their stuff smaller. And
hold on, Rev. Stop the presses, right? Because there's some brothers that are listening to this and they just turn the volume up.
I know.
Say it again for the folks in the back. If you have no other motivation to do an audit of the microplastics in your life, listen to what Rev is saying.
It's now a fact, fellas, that plastics in your system are shrinking your private parts. Not only making you sterile, but it's shrinking. And when it gets into the women who are having the babies, this is actually a big deal. It is causing those babies to then make sure that they are literally twice the size smaller in many cases. And then that's what's being passed on. And because of that, it's now in the DNA. And because in the DNA, it is now 3 and 4 generations being passed on. So literally, guys, I'm telling you, If you thought for some reason your stuff was getting smaller or not, it was what it was. It ain't you don't need the beet juice or whatever you were trying to take. You need a plastic detox. You may need to look what's in your house. Facts, all facts.
You may need the plastic detox and the beet juice.
You may need that at this point, yeah. Just keeping it real, and that's real. I'm telling y'all. This is serious. I mean, this is something here that is a reality. And the thing about this with this documentary and this film is that there's nobody's right to do that. There's nobody's right to take away people's ability to have children. Nobody's right for you as a man to literally have your manhood shrunk because of plastic. Nobody's right to have your body and your lives shortened. We want you to live. You want to live to 80, live to 80. You shouldn't lose 10 years because of some company's greed and they're putting plastics in your body.
When we come forward, I want to talk about the points that environmental justice organizers are putting on the board. The documentary does a really good job sharing a story that took place in Louisiana, specific to an organization called the Formosa plant, the proposed Formosa plant on a plantation site. There were a number of courageous organizers on the front lines, like Cheryl Levine, who's with Rise St. James, who said, "Not on my watch." Yeah, we're going to tell that story. We're going to tell that story in hopes of inspiring other organizers across the country to tap into your power to continue the change. You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. More with Reverend Lennox Yearwood when we come forward.
The audience is listening, thought-provoking, eye-opening, heart-rendering. This is where authentic voices meet powerful discussions on culture, community, and change. This is where Black voices matter. He's breaking boundaries, amplifying diverse perspectives, and tackling the issues that matter most to you. You're inside A More Perfect Union with Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. The House has passed a bill to fund the Department of Homeland Security through September. Speaker Mike Johnson expressed frustration, saying it's the third time the House has approved the measure while the Senate has not acted.
We have to solve the problem, and it's very sad that Democrats are not interested in doing that.
He also rejected efforts to separate ICE funding from the Department of Homeland Security. Maryland's Black Governor Wes Moore has approved a second round of payments through Maryland's shutdown loan program, offering $700 interest-free loans to TSA workers impacted by the shutdown. Officials say the loans must be repaid within 45 days after the shutdown ends and are meant to provide temporary relief. And Florida's Attorney General is challenging the NFL over the Rooney Rule. James Uthmeyer says the requirement to interview minority candidates violates Florida law and is asking the league to confirm by May 1st that it will no longer apply to Florida teams. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Moments away from a season opener at Dodger Stadium, and that 5 southbound is a huge mess out of Burbank. We're seeing delays all the way from Olive as you continue to the 605. North 5 staying slow out of Norwalk from Rosecrans as you continue back to the 134 freeway. Tough out of Santa Monica, eastbound 10 from Cloverfield all the way to the 5 in Boyle Heights. And that 101 southbound loading up out of Calabasas from Las Virgenes as you drop all the way into downtown Los Angeles.
Now is the time to save on an award-winning Nissan at the Nissan Now sales event, featuring the Rogue, Pathfinder, Frontier, and more. Don't wait. These offers are going fast. Shop your Southern California Nissan dealers and NissanUSA.com today.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
NBA owners voted to continue the process to evaluate Seattle and Las Vegas as potential new franchises. A final decision could come in the fall at the next owners meeting. The NBA price tag for new franchises is expected to fall between $7 and $10 billion. Seattle hasn't had an NBA team since the Sonics moved to Oklahoma City in 2008 and became the Thunder. A few years ago, LeBron had expressed interest in being part of an ownership group in Vegas if the NBA awarded the city a franchise. On Monday, LeBron said he's no longer interested. The NFL is conducting a showcase this weekend for 47 HBCU football players that have draft potential. The 3-day showcase is in Ashburn, Virginia, home of the practice facility for the Washington Commanders. In the past 3 NFL drafts, only 2 HBCU players have been selected. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Break out the champagne. Everybody get a glass.
Tavis Smiley is now ranked number 16 nationally and the highest rated talk show hosted by an African American on the 2025 Talkers Heavy 100 list of the most important talk radio hosts in the nation. Last year, Tavis ranked number 33 and the year before, number 45. The Tavis Smiley Show has rapidly expanded its national syndication to now include nearly 50 radio stations across the country and counting. Congratulations, Tavis.
Yay, yay!
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The midterm elections are upon us. It is voting season once again. Common Cause's motto is fighting for the democracy we deserve. In service of that goal, Common Cause puts its state and national policy expertise, massive network of grassroots supporters, and nonpartisan approach into action to strengthen our democracy against the challenges we face today. They work at every level of government on priorities that impact each of our lives, like defending the right to vote, limiting big money's influence on our elections, holding public officials accountable, and more. Common Cause is a nonpartisan grassroots organization dedicated to upholding the core values of American democracy. They seek to empower all people to make their voices heard in the political process. This election may be the most important one ever. If you'd like to make a donation or volunteer in service to the Constitution, please visit commoncause.org. That's commoncause.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Hit me!
National news of consequence, informed opinion,
and analysis beyond the headlines.
You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. Let me just say that the plastic detox documentary that is streaming now on Netflix is officially one of my favorite documentaries of the year. It is officially one of my favorite documentaries of the year. I'm calling it required streaming. You're going to watch this film. You're going to learn so much about this film, things that you didn't even think you needed to know. You're going to learn so much, and then you're going to want to just sort of cruise around your house and do your own little audit of all the items that you have that may contain microplastics. You know, I don't think this film is about getting us to turn away from all microplastics. It's in everything, and so it's hard to live a microplastic-free life, at least in my view. But the point is, if you can be more conscious in what you purchase and what you wear and what you put on your body and in your body, right? That this is another way in which you can keep yourself healthy, keep your family healthy. Is that not the basic point that you and the other folks involved with this film have been trying to make?
Yeah, I mean, we do need to stop our consumption around plastic. We don't need to wrap our bananas in plastic, for example. I mean, they kind of come with a natural wrapping already.
Mhm.
And so there's a lot of different things. There's a part there in the documentary where they're actually going through the grocery store, and there's like plastic nirvana. It's just when you look at everything that's wrapped in plastic. And that's intentional. I mean, clearly the plastic industry in many cases wants people to use a lot of plastic, but it's harming us. And so you're right. We need to roll that back. And your point earlier about the connection between plastic and environmental justice. There is a huge impact, particularly on Black, Brown, and Indigenous people. I think the quote of Bell Hooks fits well here, that the rage of the oppressed is not the same as the rage of the privileged. And so I know that a lot of people in the environmental movement have been upset about things that, that people call them tree huggers. But when this stuff is killing you, and it is intentionally being manufactured in your backyard, and then again put into hair products. And the thing that's there is that people aren't testing the quality. So you're right, all plastic is like the same. There are some plastics don't have to be made from oil and gas. They can be made from other things. And on top of that, people call it black plastic when they're putting toxins in there that really try to make the plastic harder. Those things also are getting into our bodies. So you're right. There's in other countries, there's a scene where it shows you all the things that are out that you can't even put in the plastic. The country, and then in our country, it's like six things. And so yeah, it's troublesome. But this is the reason why I'm just excited for this, and I'm also excited because as somebody who has been a part of the movement and been on the front lines as far as demonstration. I think the key thing, one of the things I'm excited about, reason why we're now moving Hip Hop Caucus and others are doing these documentaries is because I think we're moving to production. What worked for our parents in the 20th century is not going to work right now for us in the 21st century. So how we communicate, our phones, our media is now the public square, and we need to engage in those formats.
Absolutely. Reverend Yearwood, I want to talk about the story that you all included in the film that really moved me. I have a feeling it's going to move our leaders, learners, and listeners. There is a company that was looking to build a plant on a former plantation site. And I just thought the symbolism of that, it really connect the dots between the fundamentals that created harm for our ancestors and the fundamentals that are creating harm for our people today. Share that story with our listeners and streamers.
Yeah, this happens in a lot of places, but I'm talking about specifically and this is right in Louisiana. And what they're doing is that, as we know, Louisiana is a place in the South that had a lot of plantations. And there was a place where there were slave rebellions and uprisings. And in that, these plantations are now the places where they want to build these plants and they have it's for toxins. And there are many members of the community. One in particular we followed is the phenomenal Miss Sharon Levine and Rise St. James. And there are others who were just the Senate Project. There are many others who are there working. But they are literally fighting against, and they stopped Formosa. How they stopped is actually unique. The laws in Louisiana and many places that you can't dig on burial grounds. And because these plantations are, in essence, the burial grounds of our ancestors, they literally could not build on the ground because of our ancestors literally almost holding their own protest, which is wild. And so they could not build that, and they lost their permits because of that. So in this wild way, our ancestors who were slaves, who are now on the ground, are stopping the plants from going on where the plantations were. It is something else, and it's fun, and it's still not enough. I mean, they're still building around it. They're still building, numbers of these plants, these petrochemical facilities. But that is a phenomenal story, and one where Miss Sharon literally was going to leave because her neighbors are dying because of cancer, and she sat on her porch and she just believed that God told her to stay and to fight. and to just do what you need to do. And since that time, she has gone on to do that, and it has come at a cost. I mean, there's so many members of the community who are just dying, but they're still fighting to stop that plant and other plants from coming in to that community.
It's just another reminder that that greed has an insatiable appetite, right? The idea that a plantation should be off limits, right? The fact that they want to repurpose that land and build a plant to create harm blows my mind. But one of the things that you said in the documentary,
it breaks your heart. This is, as humanity, we should be evolving.
That's
and
right.
This is the only planet we have. There's no other planet. There's no, as they say, there's no planet B for us to go to. I love seeing some of the sci-fi movies right now. That doesn't exist. And how we treat each other. And I think that the fact of the matter that we are still harming people for greed, for that extractive mentality, that lives and don't matter. It does break your heart, but I'm just so glad and I'm so happy that there is still a resilient spirit and a spirit of fighting and standing up. That's still, and particularly in this case, mostly in powerful Black women who are standing up and they are saying no. I mean, they're saying more than no, but I can't say them cuss words on the radio station, but they're saying a lot more, but they definitely standing up.
That's right. And it's also a reminder of something that you said in the film, that organized people beat organized money every time.
Yeah, I believe that with my heart. I think that organized people does beat organized money. And I think that we have done that in all of our movements. In the 20th century, when we were fighting primarily for equality, we did that. And now, unfortunately, in the 21st century, when we're fighting for existence, we need that now more than ever. And that's why people can't get flustered and frustrated by what's happening. I know it's very daunting and hard, particularly what's going on the federal government level in this country. But despite that, we have to know, like I said before, those babies that were born during the filming of this documentary have a very good chance of seeing the year 2100. And they're not going to look back and be like, man, you had that president, that guy. They're not going to care. The same way for me, now looking back, I go back. If you go back to now, I don't know who the president was back in 1926 or whatever. I got to look it up, but I'm more concerned about the fact that I do know that, man, folks overcame the Tulsa, race riots, or they overcame certain things. And that's the thing that people look back on. So right now, when they know that we can transition from this overuse of plastic, and they're going to be like, please do that, because if not, they're going to lose their world. And they're going to look back on that. They're going to curse us for not speaking up to do what we got to do.
Yeah. Reverend Yearwood, in our remaining minutes with you, I want to give you a chance to just sort of offer us some very practical ways that this film has changed your life, how it's changed the way that you shop, how it's changed the way that your family plans family gatherings. How has this film changed you?
Well, two ways. It's been amazing. I have family in Louisiana, where I'm from, but also I have family in the Caribbean. And so again, using Netflix, everybody was able to watch it all over the world. So that's just amazing in that aspect. I think so. Spreading information. My mama cried when she watched it. She's one of the kind of women who don't cry, but she actually cried when she watched it, when she was just seeing just the impact of that. And at the end, it is kind of a tear jerker. I think the next step for me in all of this is that, again, back to what I said earlier, how can we use storytelling and narrative building to create change? I'm so proud to be part of Hip Hop Caucus, as they are being one of those organizations trying to use storytelling to create the change that we must have going forward.
Reverend Yearwood, we know this Saturday is the No Kings protest. This Saturday, March 28th, is the No Kings protest. There are over 3,100 events that are scheduled across the country. What is your prayer for everyone who makes it their business to show up at one of those protests or help promote one of those protests, what is your prayer for them, not just on protest day, but the morning after?
Well, I'm excited because people are organizing. We saw this week, we flipped where Mar-a-Lago is with new representation. So it's happening. People are moving. I think that, marches and, I'll say this, community is medicine. Community is medicine. And so these gatherings are also an opportunity for us to heal each other and to see that we're not alone in this. And so I'm just praying that people continue to just be together, and it's important for all of us to come out and to make sure that we are seen in the. I'll be there. I got my No Kings hat ready to go, and so I think it's important for us to be there, and to keep marching again. When those babies who will see, the year 2100. They will see the footage, and at least when they see the footage, they will see that, man, they all weren't crazy, and they will look back and say, okay, so it was a lot of craziness going on, but they were still human beings fighting for a better humanity and a better world. And I want to be that number that they can look back and they can point out and say, man, is that Rev Yearwood's hat and run marching? And I'm like, yes. And so that's our goal. I think that's what we have to do, is continue to pass on that baton. And I said in the film, organized people beats organized money every single time. And we ain't going to start losing right now.
Amen. Amen to that. I want to encourage all of our leaders, learners, and listeners to check out the Plastic Detox documentary. Yes. It's now streaming on Netflix. I fully endorse it. It is required streaming. I promise you, it's going to change your life. It's going to change the way that you shop. It's going to change possibly your health for the better, just by leaning into some of the very helpful information in this documentary. Thank you, Reverend Yearwood. Our thanks to you and the entire team at the Hip Hop Caucus and the entire team that worked on this film.
Yes, indeed. More to come. We working. We still working.
Absolutely. You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580, the quiet part out loud when we come forward. Thank you, sir.
Thank you now.
Striving to make America a nation as good as its promise. This is A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
What if your rooftop could earn you money every year? With LADWP's Solar Rooftops program, you can get solar panels installed and maintained on your home at no cost and earn up to $900 a year. That's up to $18,000 over 20 years. There are no upfront costs, no credit checks, and no annual fees. Plus, you'll help power Los Angeles with clean local solar energy and reduce reliance on fossil fuels. Make your rooftop work for you. Apply today at ladwp.com/solar rooftops. Heading out of town this spring? Metro makes getting to LAX easier than ever. Just take the C or K train lines to the new LAX Metro Transit Center. Then catch a free shuttle straight to your terminal. Easy, affordable, stress-free. Travel smart. Go Metro.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-478-6430 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-478-6430. That's 800-478-6430. What do you have to lose? Call 800-478-6430. Again, 800-478-6430. KBLA
Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is connecting you with services and solutions. Domestic violence and family violence is when someone in an intimate or family relationship tries to gain or maintain power and control over another through a wide range of abusive behaviors. Every single act may amount to abuse. Abuse can take on various forms: psychological and emotional, physical and economic, and sexual abuse. The Genesee Center Incorporated is a nationally recognized nonprofit domestic violence prevention and intervention organization, housing women and children from 30 days up to 2 years through emergency and transitional shelters. The Genesee Center also provides support services like mental health counseling, life skills classes, computer training, job referrals, after-school programs for children, field trips, tutoring, and comprehensive direct legal services. If you need help or you'd like to donate or volunteer, call the Genesee Hotline, 1-800-479-7328. That's 1-800-479-7328, or visit genesee.org. Everyone has the right to be safe. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Notable journalists, industry leaders, lawmakers, change makers, tastemakers, and you working to build a more perfect union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. It's time for the quiet part out loud. And let me just say, I don't know about you, but there was a poll that I saw, I think it was earlier this week, in the California governor's race, that showed the possibility of two Republicans making it to the top two slots. In California, we have a top two system, jungle primary, as they call it, where the top two vote getters are the ones that advance to the general election in November. And there's a chance that two Republicans might be the choice for all Californians in November. That being said, I think we need to learn a little bit more. In fact, I think Chad Bianco specifically, I think he's got to clarify some things, and that's being kind about it. You see, the LA Times is reporting that on a friend of, a comrade of, a colleague of Mr. Chad Bianco, that is shaking things up in rural Shasta County. He's telling Californians they can't trust elections. And guess what? It's catching on with the Republicans. At a Board of Supervisors meeting in rural Shasta County just last month, Clint Curtis, he dropped a bombshell. He said a sheriff way down in Riverside was going to confiscate all the ballots from a recent election. Curtis, who is the county registrar of voters, was the first to announce the planned ballot seizure. Even the sheriff himself, Chad Bianco, had not publicly revealed his intentions. You see, later, as Bianco as it grabbed headlines, he became the leading Republican candidate for governor. And Curtis, behind the scenes maneuvering, remained largely unknown. The registrar had worked with the Riverside County Citizens Group, whose fraud allegations had sparked Bianco's investigation, and even traveled 600 miles south to speak on his behalf. You see, in his short time in Shasta County, Curtis, who claims he's made claims about rigged voting machines, it stretched back to the early 2000s. He has solidified his position as a torchbearer of the election denialism movement, vowing to take his message about untrustworthy machines and potential fraud across California and beyond. Now, critics say that he has steadily disenfranchised voters. He has eliminated 9 of the vast county's 13 ballot drop boxes, telling the Times that he didn't trust ballots in the hands of, quote, little old ladies running all over to collect them. And he has advocated for a local ballot initiative that would limit elections to one day, eliminate most vote by mail, and require voter ID as well as hand count of ballots. Curtis also accuses predecessors in the registrar's office without evidence of election fraud and has called for federal authorities to raid the office he now runs. Wow, it sounds like he is just going down the wish list of President Trump. It's so much of what's in the Save America Act, the so-called Save America Act. This is what's happening in California. And this is someone who's an early supporter of Chad Bianco, the Riverside County Sheriff, that according to a recent poll, is polling high, is polling among the top 2 to be your choice for California governor. We invite Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco here to A More Perfect Union to explain his connection to Mr. Curtis and explain what his real intentions are, what his plan is to enfranchise voters as opposed to disenfranchise voters. You know, we don't want to live in a system where politicians are choosing their voters as opposed to voters choosing their politicians. I'll leave it there for now. My thanks to the entire village helps us produce A More Perfect Union, including our executive producer, Tavis Smiley, our sound engineer, brother Andy, our show producers, Art Sears, Faraji Muhammad, and our social media manager, Amir Black. I want to encourage everyone to tap into KBLA tomorrow as all of our female hosts, including our weekend hosts, are going to be on air. It's going to be a whole Women's Day takeover. No time like the present to hear from so many incredible voices, incredible women of KBLA on the front lines. I'll be tapped in, so I hope you'll be tapped in. In the meantime, don't panic. Organize like they did. Do what you can from where you are with what you have, but by all means, do something. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, and you've been listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
In order to install 60,000 solar-powered streetlights across the city, the 2-year plan aims to improve safety, reduce outages, and cut energy use with the